I do want to keep everybody's comments brief. If we've heard it before, we're going to ask you to move on. A few introductions right quick. We have Bob Brockman, Jay Collins, Bonnie Lockhart, Bill Klein, myself, Marty Shepard. And then with us tonight, I do see some new faces, some NextEra folks. If you wouldn't mind giving us your name, a quick introduction, that would be great for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Hello, everybody else. My name is Mitch Daly.
What was that?
Mitch Daly. I'm a director of development with NextEra Energy Resources. And I develop projects in the state of Wyoming, and we'll be working alongside the rest of my team to water project. Thank you for having us.
Good evening. My name is Mary Ann Shaner. I'm an attorney at Hathaway & Coons in Cheyenne. I represent Checkwater Energy, worked with them on numerous projects throughout the state of Wyoming. Anthony tonight is at a wedding, and so he's not able to be in attendance. So thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew Arredondo, land representative based on a land area.
Good evening. My name's Tom Traherne, and I work at NextEra Energy. I'm located in Iowa. I do a lot of development in that area, Midwest, South Dakota. My primary role with the company is I do a lot of work with the permitting side of things. So,
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else?
Evening, Joe Class, I'm a land representative as well with Andrew.
Thank you, Joe.
Sorry, Kevin Little, I'm with NextEra. I'm on the environmental services team based out of Cheyenne.
Okay. All right, with that, we're going to move on. We ended on page 12, and I can assure you that it's going to be much more expedited process tonight than it was the other night. So I think we've all had a pretty good chance to read through things. So does anybody have anything on the end of page 12? Any of the board members? I guess just tell me where your first question would be.
So starting on K there?
That's where we left off.
That's where we left off.
Yeah, that's where we left off. And it's
Have we decided on that the last, that it was already addressed?
yes,
So we're really on to page
13.
13.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Was the, did K have to do with the historic view shed?
Yes.
Was that addressed elsewhere? Because I don't remember it earlier.
It is. It is actually just later.
Later, okay, I see.
Okay.
And that actually,
So Marty, would you review again the black lettering, the red lettering, and the blue lettering?
The red lettering is what they've added. The blue lettering, they've struck.
Who is they? Oh,
The opposition to the project. And the black is our original, parts of our original.
opposition to the project?
well, the people proposing the new regulations.
That's what I would say it is, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't care how you look at it. We wouldn't be looking at new regulations if you were in favor of it. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, we just want it safe. If it has to be here, we want it safe.
I think our basic regulations that we have right now make it pretty safe. That's my opinion. So let's move on. I'm on page 17 already,
Yeah,
but I didn't have anything.
I'm just trying to figure out where.
What's that?
I didn't get organized. I'm just trying to follow along our current regs as well.
Oh, what page are you on with the new ones?
But not that far along.
You're what? Not that far along?
So you said we were on page.
Jay, where are you at? What page are you on?
I'm on 1819.
You're ahead of me. It just seems when I read through these, there's a lot of redundancy. There's a lot of things that are in here twice.
There are.
Whether it's prior or later in the document.
I have a question.
Sure.
Go back up to the top of the page, because this is like my first time seeing this.
Page 14.
The one that talks about fire. No, right there. And it's, yeah, right there, above C, so it must be the continuation of B. No? Okay, yeah. It says, shall put relevant agency to develop an emergency response plan in the event of fire in and around the facility. Given the drought status and, wheat fields and all that, and the lack of, abundant population, and most of our fire departments are all volunteer, I think that should be something that's very concerning.
If it catches on fire, ma'am, I'm sure the volunteer firemen are gonna get there, whether it's populated or not.
And it's also.
And they're very difficult to put out.
It's also in our.
Fires tend to
already
be
in the
that way.
regulations, though. That's all, it's in there. That's part of the redundancy. Pretty much everything on here is already in there.
Yeah, that's the difference.
So you're saying that's here.
And is that around each turbine?
Well, yeah, they have just outlined it to be more common details. But,
May I ask a question about redundancy? Is there another place in the document, I know last time we talked about setbacks, and I think some of you mentioned that we were gonna revisit that, the setback section. Is there another place in the document where setbacks
I
are
don't
mentioned?
believe there
or
is.
that
I
the
didn't
only
see
place?
another one in that one.
Okay. At what point were you guys gonna?
I think the next time we visit the setbacks is when we take our revisions to the commissioners.
Yeah.
And that will be an open planning and zoning meeting, not the workshop. We cannot make any changes tonight. We can take suggestions, write suggestions down. We can't take any action. So the next time you're really gonna hear us tell you what we proposed after tonight is the first planning and zoning meeting,
which is next.
which would be the new, what we think for the new regulations for the commissioners to look at. And or any changes. 21 with the airstrips and
Which, all of that was
Yeah.
added in.
Yep.
And I think that our FAA regulations addresses that.
they're
so
gonna,
that's-
they will definitely
And so
address all that.
that's in our current regs under. I see.
I think it's important that you folks know that we're not up here taking it lightly, but I think it's also important you know that
There's definitely things in there
that we need to look at.
that I think we need to look at.
But I think there's a happy medium somewhere in this document where you might not be happy, we might not be happy, but at the end of the day, we're gonna make a recommendation. Where are you guys at now?
I am on 22, 23. As far as everything, 21 and 22, in there, I
23 I had circled, page 23, there was something in there that I don't know. I need to reread page 23. And I also had 25, no, there was something in 25, yeah, that I'm not there yet. And that's that page, I'm jumping ahead, but 25 stuff they've added, but I thought there was something in there that I had a question about.
The 12 miles.
Well, I'm still
Oh,
on
you're on
23.
23, okay. Does it say anything? Well, that's all. So in our regulations state that it's just, like I said, they've just gotten out more. Regulations state that the application have to be with all that.
And something else I think that's important that you folks know tonight, no matter what changes we make, if the permit's granted for Nextera to do their project, we can still put conditions on a special use permit.
Yeah.
Whether it's in these guidelines or not.
Or private, maybe a facility. And so that's another place where we can put conditions on our,
On the special permit, we can put that
we can
condition.
put conditions if there's something like that that's maybe in the way.
That isn't right, that hasn't been addressed.
So, yeah, that's where I think that it's just.
All of that. I guess, like, I did figure out my question on page 25.
25?
Well, I read that. I didn't find anything that I questioned on 23.
We questioned on page 22, the 3
On
miles
the,
standard.
That's what I was just talking about.
he was just talking about that too,
Already
but
discussed and very weak.
it's like, this is what the current, well, you can see. We just- it's- it's- I'm just trying to look if I can see it on. Maybe it's here as well,
What page
because
you
it's
on,
all-
Bonnie?
Well, in our
Oh.
current regs, it's only page 11. So it's just saying, it's basically giving us the permission to add the conditions on for private, public or private. And that all of those are acknowledged.
That's on page 11 of our original.
And that all has to, they all have to get all these approvals through all of these other places as well, anyway, right? And that's all the
Yeah.
departments that they have to go through or recommendations.
I answered my own question on 25. But I will. It's just so much. The general legal description, that's all has to be defined no matter what.
What's that?
The E on page 25.
125.
So much of this stuff, no matter what we do or what they do, the company does, all this stuff is gonna have to be spelled out.
Well, and that's also in our
That's what it's in our
cyber,
current.
yeah, and there's things like on D, I agree that
Which one?
maybe
Which
on,
one?
on D 125, I agree that maybe we should increase protection, but 12 miles.
12 miles,
I think is a little
that was my,
excessive.
12 miles might be excessive. What would you,
What do you guys think?
who am I addressing?
25.
Jill, Lucinda, who,
Jill or
what?
Lucinda?
On page 25, where you ask for a 12-mile radius for phone numbers, email,
That was something that,
Right, could we have the expert speak to that, please? That'd be great.
yeah, I'll give him a minute.
Thank you.
that was due to.
I should give him
the,
30 seconds, that's about
to their
standard. but-
infrasound.
What?
It's
Why
due to
would we
infrasound.
want to?
It's regarding the infrasound, I would, yeah, I would presume that's why, that's in there, is just so that people could be notified, that they're within the range of what infrasound would reach for susceptible people.
Have you-
Some people might have to make special accommodations, like sleeping in their basement, for example, which would be pretty, they'd need to know.
I'm gonna put Nextera on the spot. Is this something new, or is this something that we need to know about, or is
Been
this,
around
give me the infrasound.
Sure,
Give me a rundown.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, this is a common thing that is brought up as far as non-permissible sound. As far as NextEra's operations as the largest producer of renewable energy generation, as well as from across the world, there have not been perceived any health effects from people either determining what they call infrasound or wind-driven symptoms. You know, I think notably, Australia produced a lot of wind farms, one before the United States, that showed the rise of wind farms and populations. There was a long-term study done, and to date, there have been no well-documented effects on human individuals. So I think you can go onto the internet, you can read a bunch of different things, but there have been also multiple peer-reviewed studies that have shown that infrasound is not a concern for humans.
Just for what it's worth, my opinion is, I'm guilty of it. When we get on the internet and we find something that we don't like, we're gonna dwell on the negative. We don't go find the positive, so I'm sure there's a lot of positive out there as well.
I did do a little research on that as well, and I haven't seen, I mean, I've looked at all your stuff,
Yeah, thank you.
and, I didn't read every word of every study. I didn't have time for that, but I did review it, and I also did a lot of reviewing of my own, and I guess I haven't seen as much positive as I've seen negative, because I had all of your information in front of me, and I didn't have the time to do a lot of other research, but I have seen a lot of positive studies where they haven't come to the same conclusion.
Well, I mean, with any industry, which is just, I mean, the burden of proof is on the industry to prove safety. And in this case, why would there be so many doctors' reports and scientific studies saying that pressure fluctuations are problematic for a certain percentage of the population? I mean, it's in NextEra's best interest to say it's imaginary, but then where do all the reports come from? I mean, I have no dollars on the line either for camp. I just want to protect my kids, and I live up there.
Okay.
So it might be something to look at as far as, where we want to go with our distance.
The radius is 12 miles. Okay. That's what I put. I X'd out the rest of it on the bottom of that.
Okay, yep. Anything else on that?
Yeah, I've read it 3 or 4 times, and I tell you, I looked at Albany County, Carbon County, Converse County, Laramie County, and those states are predominantly where the most wind towers are, and some solar. And their regulations are 10 to 20 pages. And it looked to me like it protected the public as well as you could protect it. Marty, may I ask NextEra a question?
Absolutely.
Have you gone through the industrial siding yet with their permitting process? I'm ignorant totally of it.
For this project, not yet, but we have gone through the industrial siting process for every other project we have operating at the station.
And have you seen the regulations in Platte County? What I'm trying to find out is how does the state compare to what Platte County has as of record now?
So what I would add is, so far what we've seen from Platte County is the regulations are overall pretty comparable to other counties, and overall relatively in congruence with the state. If anything, they're already slightly more stringent. I think, you can note that Platte County doesn't have a ton of things here. I think what's important to note when you're looking at these regulations is, balancing a number of things. Notably, private property rights is a big one, as well as the energy development. So currently, these standards that you guys have in place already, we think are to a very high degree. We don't see a ton of issue with them in their current format, but, we do have concerns with proposed changes. What is that going to do to, continuing private property rights for those folks who are already out there? Is that going to impact on them? Like, I think in here it talks about decibels, for example. Is that going to also to apply to rodeos, to weddings? Would that fundamentally change some of the whole way of life that is out here as well? I think the biggest thing that we want to make sure is regulations are fair and consistent across industries, and it's not putting one over favor for another. So as far as all the things that we're considering, is that going to be the same for pipelines, transmission lines, things of that nature? So that's what we would say, that's a general comment to the regulations. But to answer your question, they're pretty comparable to other counties, but in their current form, they're already slightly more stringent than other counties.
Thank you.
Question for you, Marty. So if you're saying that you could always put restrictions or requirements on the permit later, to his point, making it fair across the board, wouldn't it be in the best interest from a legal standpoint of putting those regulations on the standard for everybody now versus saying that you're gonna put a change on it on the permit after it's been applied?
That's a pretty tough question to answer. I'm gonna give you my opinion. Our county's pretty diverse, and we do a lot of permitting case by case. Just because I think I can speak to the board. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think we want to be user friendly. We want Platte County to grow, not be hindered. We do want our kids to come back and work in Platte County, but in order to have our kids come back and work in Platte County, we got to let something in.
I agree.
And we're having a hard time letting things in. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's a tough situation, but
Well, I understand. That wasn't my question. It was about his.
I still think it's case by case.
Industries, though, we do.
Okay.
And
Already.
I don't want a special interest group coming after my farm, telling me my decibels are too high in my tractor. I don't want a special interest group coming to my feedlot and telling me it stinks. I don't want that. Period. I don't want that. That's just me. I'm not speaking for anybody else. That's just me. Once we open the door, it's open, in my opinion. It affects a lot of things. Might be your lawnmower tractor in town. The decibels are too high.
Well, I'm not speaking about the decibels per se, I'm just saying.
I'm
As a
just saying,
standard.
in general, you are asking, not you, I don't know, but you're asking a lot with 55 pages of changes. Not changes, but a document that's 55 pages long. When the ones that we have pretty well address all of the concerns. I'm not saying 100%, I said pretty well.
And as far as being the same across the board for all industries, each industry has a current set of regulations for the most part already also. And revisit them as we need to for whatever projects are going on.
Okay, let's move on. Where we at?
I think we left off at
On D, right?
I think we were ready to move on to
Having kids again. Somebody's always talking about them.
The D is something we should,
Which one?
yeah, wanted to revisit that, right?
Yep. No, that's,
Where you at, Bonnie?
I think we were on 6.
In D,
No. Page 25 is D, page 26
after
is where we're moving on to.
and then we go back to the 12 miles again in J.
Right. Because that is where they're in our current rates.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, so.
Trains, wind turbines, really heavy mass, movement across the ground or something. Saying up here where that about setback.
Right.
That's what I said, that
That's
page
way,
is-
It's like they don't pay them radio and they're saying, some radio,
well, I tell you, 20 miles from any town and statutorily in the state of Wyoming, the town can reach 3 miles and that's it. 3,
no.
the town has a say-so within the 3 mile radius. After that, it's county.
Right, but where'd you get 20 miles? This is 12 miles.
Page 26, is 26, under item J, the last sentence.
Oh, I got you.
So that's black, so that means it's already been.
That's
it's not being
already
changed.
in our regulations.
Oh, that's airspace too.
That is talking about,
That's the military installation. Right. And I'm sure the military is gonna be on you guys like stink on shit. So that's how it is.
Well, and the language in there comes from the state statute.
Right.
And that was revised in 2020, and the military was significantly involved with that language.
And I do think these ideas you're giving us are valid, but hopefully we are reiterating where the military is gonna outrank us all day long.
so is it where they crossed out all that on R, that's because earlier they had put all that in just with more detail. And so we were knocking that out and leaving this, right, leaving our state ones the way it is.
Starting at R.
You guys follow that?
Yeah.
Where they struck all that out because they had added that in. So I think all that can just stay the way it is.
Where are you at now? Besides me, somebody else tell me where you're at.
I guess on T, they're on page 27. And then continuing on into me. That's kind of like industrial.
Well, but we have that in our original now, right?
Well, the first part of it, yes, but
Right.
where it comes into the red.
Yeah, we just took that out of that last one. On the number page 2,000. It was the same thing. I don't know what page it was on.
Back closer to the beginning, where they're asking
For
for
the
studies and
Impact
so
study,
forth.
Yeah.
Liz.
Where you at? Yep, that's where I'm at. On the decommissioning plan, we pretty well have that in ours already. I read through that.
Yeah, as far as that part,
Yep.
or anything above it.
Yep.
There's one on that, where they're adding in on that plan to include, they want the plan to include the following for safety theater.
Say that
At
again.
the top.
Oh, here. I think that's all gonna be in the plan anyway.
Right. I mean, they've added in a couple of things that that's, if those are things that are reasonable to ask for, or. I mean, the site plan will include the existing roadways.
I'm good with that. Roadways, drainage, all that stuff. That's good. But I still think they're gonna have to do it whether it's in here or not. UCC committee, I think they're gonna have to provide that.
Right.
Are you not?
If you go back to page
Sorry, I guess I
28
can just
also,
ask the question. You're still gonna have to provide
they want it
existing
also
proposed
on
roadways,
scale.
drainage through the facility, how it's all gonna
And
impact the
25 years
land.
on, that's
Yeah, I mean, it's, you're,
right, no, but.
Can I make a
the
statement?
scale part.
I, in my professional career, if it wasn't written down, it wasn't done.
it what?
If you didn't write it down, it was never done. Or if it wasn't written down, you didn't have to follow those guidelines.
So I think what Marty's saying is that though a lot of this is already gonna be taken care of through other departments that are gonna be, that they have to go through other governmental departments.
So
Like
you're
DEQ and
depending on other departments to cover our bucks.
They can't come to us unless they have those already. There's a whole long list of other stuff that they have to.
There's a certain chain of command that they have to follow before it ever gets to us.
Okay.
Once it gets to us, if they've jumped through steps 1 through 7, we're good. If they've missed one step, we're not good.
And so if they miss that one step, see, this is brand new to
So
me,
if-
I'm learning
If they
too.
come to us and they need our approval before they can go on to the next step,
Okay,
we can still make that permit contingent on if they complete the rest of those steps. They're not gonna get a permit unless they come back to the planner and say, okay, we've got everything complete now, and everybody's gotta sign off on
okay. Thanks for explaining that.
it. There's another question, Dr. Marty.
Just real quick, Marty, there are some big gaps in not only Lake County regulations, but also in the state regulations as far as the industrial siting council is concerned. So I just want to give you a couple of numbers. 105,821, does that number sound familiar to any of you guys, including NextEra? That's the weight, the number of pounds each one of the best containers weighs. 190 is another number you need to know. That's how many containers that are around 40 foot long that will be, that's proposed to be on the site, right along 313, just a couple miles from my house. So you multiply that out, it's 20,105,990 pounds, over 20 million pounds of lithium ion batteries that currently there are no specifications at the state level or here. I think that's significant. That's a significant oversight.
And that's
We agree. All of us would agree with that.
something we need to.
That's something that we're going to address. We have nothing in our rules and regulations about batteries. But that's not, we're not there yet.
It's not right. Yeah. It's like the next chapter.
I gave you a 12-page rundown of the review of dust. I was wondering, when are you going, I made myself available to answer any questions. When are you going to address that?
I think we're addressing some of it tonight. I haven't read your 12-page document. I'm not gonna sit here and lie.
In that document, I gave you tools to help getting started to write the regulations
On batteries?
on dust systems.
All right, thank you. We'll look at that. And if you would too, from now on, please say your name, just so we have it before you speak.
Keith Miller.
Thank you.
Mike Kelly.
Where are we at?
Well, I was
30 and
asking
30
about,
on.
I was asking if we really wanted to keep these things in on, page 28.
29.
You think those need to be in there?
I think they're already going to be in there. I think they're gonna have to do that anyway, whether it's in there or not. Specifically spelled out.
And as far as this, drawn to scale.
For what?
This page, where that chapter, where that is, drawn to scale.
Can you answer that question for me, Mitch? Have you ever had to,
The question, sorry.
I'm gonna ask it. Have you ever had to, I'm sure you have,
Draw that to
a
scale.
plan drawn to scale?
Does it need to say that?
Does it need to say that, or it's typically going to be drawn to scale, is it not? Or, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, just enlighten me, please.
Yeah, I mean, we typically have a number of different site plans. We don't think it needs to say drawn to scale. However, we can, happy to provide former applications that we have submitted for reference document review. We'd like to see a typical application.
Did that answer your question, Mike? Did that answer any of your guys' questions or concerns about the map?
I think it was just the clerk.
Okay.
Had to say it or not.
Say that again. What? I don't have,
The distance from an airstrip.
Are you talking about on page 29?
Yes.
The guidebook thing? Yeah, no. Use this one.
tell me right quick what it says in our about reclamation. You have that.
So referring to which part?
Just the restoration, reclamation when the project's completed.
Where are you at on?
I'm reading about this one. On 30. I'm pretty familiar with the reclamation plan, not in Platte County, because we just did a big wind turbine farm in Albany. So, and I gotta tell you, the reclamation's incredible. Under 35 towers, it's immaculate. They did a hell of a job. Not saying it's your company, but they did a hell of a job. And actually, the roads around the turbines made it a lot easier to access the ranch.
Well, up on the range,
Yeah.
May I ask a question? Gail Russell. The ranch, the reclamation that you were just talking about in Albany County, how long have those turbines been?
They're brand new.
Okay, and they've reclaimed, so it's not the end of the project
No,
then
it's the reclamation after the construction.
after the construction? Okay.
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 Just
thank
they put everything back except for where the turbines stand themselves, and it's immaculate. It's pretty impressive.
You got grass to grow in a drought.
What's that?
You got grass to grow in a drought.
Yeah,
How
it
do you
is. It's
water it?
impressive. I don't know how they did it, but it's damned impressive.
Marty, you got a question, that's it.
Hey, it's not a question. I've been from Texas to Montana.
Say your
this
name,
is-
if you would, say your name.
I'm Wade Utter. I've been from Texas to Montana in the last month. And the amount of animals that use this for shade, wildlife, cattle, sheep, you see them underneath of them, using the towers for shade. They're not scared. They're laying there. They actually get up and move with the shade. I've seen cattle grazing next to them.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
And
here.
It's probably the greenest grass they've seen all summer long.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Let's get back on track.
Marty, I have a question on page 30, 13. No, this is on decommissioning. No turbine blades shall be disposed of in Platte County. What is your plan for disposing of turbine blades in the past? What do you do?
Yeah, so far we have not actually decommissioned any of our wind sites. They're all still currently operating. But all our decommissioning plans in accordance with the Industrial Siting Act, we do update them every 5 years. So I know what is a common concern. We have made public commitments that no recycling blade or no blades will be recycled into landfills. And currently, the best thing that we're doing right now is working with our original equipment manufacturer, or OEMs, GE, predominantly using them to be grinded up and used in concrete.
Oh, good.
In the industrial, in the application that NextEra sent to the Industrial Siting Council, it says that the blades are going to be cut into 40-foot sections and hauled to Guernsey landfill. That's right in the document that was sent to the state.
Can you speak on that? One of you? Anybody?
It's over 2,500 pages, so it's taken me a little while to get through it.
Can one of you speak on that? Can you address that?
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Sure.
I mean, I know that the team has just submitted it. I was not familiar with that one, but I'm certainly willing to look into that and, answer specific questions that you have on that
the decommissioning and reclamation plan, as Mitch indicated, is updated with the state every 5 years. And so that's as of right now, what Mitch indicated is, it's a commitment to do that. And so the plan is for the next 5 years, and it'll be updated every 5 years.
But the statement still says they're gonna be buried in the landfill in Guernsey, according to what he said.
Well, we'll look into that. There again,
And that's another thing.
that's one thing that we have to look at. Thank you for the info.
I can send you the page number.
Was it last time when we were meeting, I think, was it Chuck Gray that was here, and he said that it is important for the county to have some redundancies, even when the state also has regulations about those things, because we as Platte County, we're gonna care more about Guernsey than the state of Wyoming will. So, I mean, it makes sense to have some hoops that need to be jumped through twice, because Platte's gonna care more than the state about our county.
Sure.
So we need to address that one. Yep. I'm good with leaving ours the way they were read, that they struck all of page 32. Just as it's read. As we have it written. With the current, that's what I thought too.
Inefficient on the surface.
And there again, Gary, game and fish is gonna be way more strict than we are. Guaranteed. I would agree with that one too. Doesn't count. Ian, can you help us out on that one, liability insurance?
Liability for, sorry, I was deep in thought.
Which line?
We are,
Oh, no, and then-
41, or, yeah.
page 33 F.
We went over that when we did this, and liability insurance, who does liability insurance protect? Bob?
I don't, I think the fight between these wind towers is between the landowner and the owner of the tower when it comes to reclamation or damage. I mean, those are the two parties. Madam Attorney, am I wrong? And I know you guys like to go after anybody that you can think of in litigation.
No, I think you're generally right.
The thing with it is that this is redundant like everything else. We debated on whether or not that was our place 5 years ago when we talked about doing it, and it was so commonplace for everybody to carry liability insurance that that's kind of on them. The risk is on them.
Is there anything in the state regs about that?
I mean, not totally on them, because liability, if they go under and if somebody's injured to the tune of $25 million and they're not getting paid, but
everybody carries liability insurance. Everybody's. If we had an insurance agent, I'd ask him what percentage of the project, it probably is tied to the cost of the project or something like that. So you carry a percentage of the project in liability insurance. Probably gonna be more than $25 million for the company, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it gets into what are we experts at, and to be honest with you, we're
That's not mine. Yeah, I'm not
Exactly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Chloe Butler, and from what I understand, talking with folks in the insurance realm in Wyoming, to our knowledge, there is a big gap in what, in other words, insurance companies, from what I hear, and this is from close sources, the insurance companies will not cover damage, cover the landowner, especially in ag policies, even ag umbrella policies, they will not cover damage due to wind turbines. And we've had some questions out for other insurance agents, and none of them have come up with any response as to insurance companies that operate in Wyoming covering anything for the landowners on turbine damage, solar panel damage, those kinds of things. So the landowners are gonna be SOL, shall we say nicely.
Thank you. What's that?
What do you want me to do?
I'd say we leave it like we have it. That would be my. Obviously, I guess the way I look at that too is, person is which allowing the wind turbines on their place, is either gonna have insurance or they're not.
Well, and they'll.
That's not up to us
it'll-
to
no,
dictate.
right, it's between the company and
Yep.
the landowner.
Yep.
I agree.
Pardon me. Sorry, brain inquiry. No, I think the question is, what about the surrounding property owners? Not the people who are benefiting from the project, but the people adjacent, if they can't get liability protection for their property. I think that's the question.
I'm not an insurance man, so I don't know why you couldn't, but I'm not an insurance
I'm just
person.
clarifying, because you were saying,
No,
well,
right.
that's between NextEra and the property owners.
Well, I would still say it's still between the adjoining property owner themselves to find an agent that gives them insurance. Whether you can or cannot, this board can't decide that.
So here's what this does. This basically makes sure that there's a pot of money to pull from in case somebody has to collect on liability from whoever's operating out there, right? But the process is that if you are going to collect on some damage that some other person did to you, no matter if it's a neighbor or a company or whatever, you have to file suit. And so what this does is it goes, if I file suit, there will be $25 million or $5 million in there. If they don't have liability insurance, they file suit for whatever number it is, and they find them causal to whatever damage or hurt that you occurred. I mean, it goes to the courts, right? This is just saying, we think you should have liability insurance to have a pool of money to pull from. So if they don't have liability insurance, they ask the company to pay in fines or fees or whatever else. If they don't have the money, then the company goes bankrupt and they sell the wind farm. It's a big picture, right? So that's what that's doing, is making sure that there's a pool of money to pull from, protecting the wind company from having to shut down. That's how I understand it. So if the point is to make the wind company more stable, that's a good one to have in there.
Do you know how much a hospital bill costs these days?
Probably $24.5 million.
Close.
I don't know. That's my point. Who can tell us if there's a good number in there? Have you guys thought about where did the 25 million come from?
It was 2 million.
Yeah, it was.
And they're asking to change it to 5 million per occurrence, 10 million.
5, I'm sorry.
10 million aggregate.
I've been telling people my vanity still outstrips my curiosity. I need glasses. So 5 million,
You have
maybe.
to, you
Yeah,
have to cross out the 2 and add the 5.
yeah, maybe it is.
Cross out the 2. or
Either way, it's
210
not really a big
million.
point because
Where did you guys come up with the 5 million?
Yeah.
That
Where
number,
did that come from, when you guys were
putting them in
writing these?
I think inflation,
Just kind of a
inflation
number that you
figures
came up
from,
with, thought we, from that.
from when these were done originally. Inflation was-
No, something to think about,
Just to be,
maybe revisit that.
Is the game and fish one of the entities that have to review a special use?
Yes.
Yes.
So there's quite a few pages
Right,
that can go to Wyoming Game and Fish.
Right.
already. Yeah, there and the curriculum and services.
Yep.
It's also- Yeah, there's a whole list.
It's a hell of an extensive plan
Oh,
they have to put together
for,
for game and fish.
Oh.
It's huge.
gets back to, what do you guys have to have for some of these other projects? Is it 2 million
for liability.
for liability or 5 million, or do you have any idea?
I mean, it really depends on the project itself, you know.
Is it more based on a percentage of the value of the?
I mean, typically you have seen that, but, you know, even $5 million per occurrence, I think that's the max that I've seen anecdotally at any of my project sites.
Where are we at now? Page 35 is a lot of
I have a question about page 34. Were you guys, the few little additions in citing considerations on B there, page 34, were those, lower down,
On the citing
The cemeteries and the,
Yeah, is
Yeah.
that something that you guys took issue with, or were you gonna leave that right in there?
I didn't have a problem. The only thing I was curious about was the aquifer. It's hard to prove what disturbed the aquifer.
I just think
If
it's good
anything.
language to have in there, I think it's protected. I was glad to see that, and I thought, I hope they keep that.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with it. We're gonna blame the wind turbines for the drought when we all know it's really not the truth. When my well goes dry, that's who I'm calling. No, I'm not, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of drought, if you don't mind me making a comment, my name is Val Mueller. I grew up in Texas. Had a lot of wind come into Texas when I was younger. The drought. There's a lot of water that's used to mix all this concrete to hold those towers. Where's the water gonna come from here? I only got a half a foot of water for 2 days in irrigation this year. didn't touch my property at all, really.
I know
Didn't make
all
it down.
about that.
So
I didn't
where
go
are
any
we gonna
further
get
either.
45 million gallons of water to mix all this concrete?
That's not that much water. There's 325,000 gallons in an acre foot of water. That's not much water. I mean, when you put it in that way, it's not. We use a lot of water in this county.
I know we do.
So
Correct.
They're gonna use a lot more.
no, it's really, that's a minute number. It sounds like a lot, but it's minute. Go ahead.
The application indicates over 135 acre feet of water for over 20 months.
And
is what
that,
it's
there
saying.
again, that's nothing. I hate to tell you, that's nothing.
I'm just saying what the application says, so.
And that's basically what we've got, is nothing, so where's it gonna come from?
That's
We have
between
no idea.
NextEra and
That's-
whoever they get the
that's
water
up to
from.
them.
That's not this board's decision. If we don't tell you where to buy your gas from, you have that choice. They're gonna have that right to figure out where they're gonna get their water.
And again, there's this 3 mile thing back here on page 34 also. I don't know if there's that one or not. Seems to be like we're maybe thought about changing it to 3 miles previously, and that's why it's in right here as well.
Say that again.
We talked about changing that earlier in the rates,
Back in the setbacks. Yeah.
And so because we thought about it there, means that that's why it's in here. I didn't know if we had ever come to a conclusion if we wanted to do that in our back.
I'm out on 3 miles. Oh, no, it was definitely, we talked about it right on.
It was
early.
something we talked about last time.
Yeah.
Is that regarding the setbacks?
Yeah.
On C?
Yeah.
And it is on page 7.
That is, if
Instead
I
of
could
being
speak to it,
quarter mile, it's 3 miles.
my name is Catherine Stevens, I didn't say that earlier, but the setbacks are probably, of all these 55 pages, the most protected factor for the real people that live up there, truly, and should not be underestimated. I'm not saying it has to be 3, but a quarter mile is not safe.
Where are you?
Right.
Now we're talking about 3.
No, so that was
Seven,
for,
it's right here. You're jumping ahead. Go to A
so
on
there-
page 7,
on page 7.
quarter mile. They were
Quarter
asking
mile.
for 3 mile. We're at a quarter.
And that's
That's where we have. the
that's from
question.
structures. Yeah, it's right, in blocks, by structures, and then this one, is for, the property line. And it was pretty,
No, we came up
it's kind
against
of a
that.
big, pretty issue.
Yeah.
Tell me where you're at. I mean,
We
no,
we went back to page 7.
yep, I'm there,
Okay.
but where are you guys at in your
Oh,
discussion
we're
on
just
setback?
trying to figure out if, where that should really be at.
3 miles seems like a lot. You know,
Does to me too.
in your review
And I
of
think that
other
it
planning
was-
and zoning regs,
When we were
what did
talking
they
about
have?
that, it was the height of the
I
tower.
don't
and all
remember,
of
but
that
I can
too.
get it, but give me an hour to, in a computer.
Well, that's for the property line.
But I don't think any of them were near as stringent as what is in this.
This is 5.5 times.
The height of the tower.
Um,
Yeah. It is.
regarding what's reasonable, the Goshen County has 1 mile setbacks that they've approved. Sweetwater County has 1.25 mile setbacks, and Washington County in Colorado has 1 mile setback. So, I mean, that's widely considered reasonable.
Did you look at any of the other counties adjacent to us?
And I
I
know
mean,
I asked.
other than Goshen?
Besides Goshen, I know they did. They did a lot
600.
of research.
600?
Weren't those towers 600 feet? Sorry, we're having two discussions.
I'm
The
sorry,
towers,
which towers?
were they 600 feet or
Towers, were they-
540, something like that?
490.
Like 500, okay, so we were
500.
thinking, okay, so if we're 5.5 times the tower height, then we're at a half a mile.
So it's
Yeah,
C- 27,
C is
50.
just telling us
Right,
what to
right.
get on a, C is just saying draw it on a map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It doesn't tie back to anything, like 3 miles is not a setback, it's just within 3 miles, draw this. You know,
Marty, you got a question?
I'd just like to note that 499 feet is an underestimate by 25 meters of what the tallest towers could be. Their application notes a range of tower height, and that's the minimum height.
Is that correct, Mitch?
So typically when you permit these things, you still leave yourself some time to change turbine technology, but are pretty well locked in. We've used larger towers at other projects. This one best suited as far as the wind profile and overall for the project, the GP 2.82 machines are best suited, so that is what we.
Did that answer your question?
No, sir. It's not, because they state that the tower heights can be that range explicitly.
But I think that's covered in the 5.5 times the
You would
tower,
still pay
right? Yeah.
for.
No matter what the
talking
height of the
about-
tower is, if it's 5.5, we're good.
So any future repowers couldn't exceed the height of the initial installation without relocating the position of the tower.
That's probably how I'd read that.
The page 481, at the bottom of the page of the application is where you'll find that information about the blades being cut in 40-foot pieces.
You know what,
Shipped
I've been
to
sitting here thinking about that, and we don't even have a landfill in Platte County, period, so I don't know how they could put in their permit that they were gonna haul them to Guernsey.
That's exactly what it says.
We don't even have a landfill, it's permitted. All of our trash goes to TDS and Torrington, so how are they gonna get it to Guernsey? Just curious.
5 truckloads an hour.
Huh?
Says here 5 truckloads an hour.
Well, I'm just saying, we don't
$90
have,
a load.
we don't have a permitted landfill in the county, so I don't know how that's gonna happen. So that might ease your question. If there isn't a permitted landfill in the county, which there isn't, it goes to Goshen, they're not gonna be buried in Platte County. End of story. We're not worried about Goshen County, I hate to tell you.
You know, it'd have to be, something there that puts.
Yeah, the only way they could be buried in Platte County is if we get a permitted waste disposal. That's it.
Right,
So why does the document say they're gonna be buried in Guernsey if you don't know where you're gonna bury them?
Ma'am, I have no idea, but I know we don't have a permitted dump in the county.
and that
Evidently,
is-
it's in the document.
That's something that they
Has
sent
Guernsey even
to
been approached to
a whole different entity
be
besides
his
us, so we don't
disposal
know
site?
what that
I
says.
have no idea. I'm not gonna read, how many pages is it?
2,500.
Yeah, I'm out, sorry.
It's like a whole different division.
Hey, I'm cleared to 39. I'm seeing nothing.
All right, hang on. Okay, so we were on that 3 mile.
Where you at, Beaver?
Yeah, back to that,
Just
okay.
hanging back there, all nice and quiet.
We're good at 5.5 times the tower, Lonnie.
Sorry, what?
We're good at 5.5 times the tower.
That's what our current rate's saying.
Yes, that's where I'm at.
I think so, I mean, that's just instead of half mile.
Yep.
Is that enough?
May I add?
From,
Shoot, fire away.
Okay, I appreciate it. I mean, honestly, guys. So the pressure, the barometric pressure that comes every time the blade passes by the tower, there's a barometric pressure fluctuation. And because they're so low frequency, you can't hear them, they actually travel farther. Just like AM waves travel farther at night on the radio, that's the same principle applies. So when you're thinking 5.5 times the tower height, that seems perfectly adequate. Those waves travel much farther than we would think of here. And I can't overstate how much we as the citizens need you to protect us with these. This is exactly why planning and zoning exists, to zone this stuff away from our homes, our children, where we sleep. We need that. 5.5 times is not adequate.
What do you think it should be? Don't tell me 3 miles, because I can assure you that's probably not gonna happen.
I think it should be at least a mile, and 1.5 miles would be better. But that's even, I mean, that's coming, meeting in the middle on it.
Discussion. Need some input.
I don't hear very good, Marty, so, I mean, but I've talked to so many of those people over in Carbon and Albany County that have got the towers on their land, and I never hear of anything about sound.
It's not sound. We're not talking about sound.
What,
It's barometric pressure fluctuation, and it vibrates your internal organs, your ears, the fluid around your brain, your heart. So if anybody is prone to migraines or headaches, if anyone has an autoimmune disorder or a heart condition, or like in my case, a histamine problem, any of those things, a mental health issue, would predispose somebody to being more sensitive to their internal organs vibrating at an unnatural frequency. Our bodies aren't meant for that. So when you put it next to someone's home, with about a certain percentage of the population, they're going to be sensitive. I don't know if it's going to be my family or if it's going to be my neighbor's family. I don't want it to be anybody's family, which is why we need those barriers, those protective setbacks.
One more time.
I would just like to note that it's not unprecedented in the NextEra project to have setbacks of 1 mile. Cedar Springs 1 and 2, the people that live in that, when they developed their lease application, made the setbacks 1 mile. And NextEra agreed to that. So it's not unprecedented to expect a 1 mile setback from a residence. And I can give you names of people up there that you can go talk to yourself. They said that was the key to them being able to live in that wind turbine field, is having that 1 mile setback.
and what project was that?
Cedar Springs 1 and 2, which is north of Douglas. It's a NextEra project.
About 13 miles north.
Is that fact, or can you help me out?
So Cedar Springs 1 and 2 was developed before I was there, and developed before things of that project. But when you are negotiating with the landowner in a lease agreement, sometimes there are certain conditions that they would like to do that they can and cannot live with, so you make that in a personal lease decision. So I was not the original developer on those projects, but if a landowner who wanted to agree and said this would be contingent that you follow these things, we work out those arrangements with the landowner on a case by case basis.
It seems to be a pretty big topic. Let's just figure it out.
Think about that some more. What do you think?
Infrasound?
No,
No,
just the
the
setback,
setback
just the
of-
setback
The
period.
setback from structural, residential dwelling or occupancy.
Here again, we're hearing, and I'm not being, we're hearing your side of the story, that's it. Obviously, there's another side of the story. We need to hear the other side of the story.
Respectfully, the other side of the story should not come from the company. It should
I
come
didn't
from
say,
underneath.
I didn't say,
Okay.
I didn't say it should. I didn't
Just
say.
other research that needs to be
Yeah.
done on it. We
I
need to look at
fully,
these things.
support that.
And that's why I made the comment earlier. If you're hunting for negative, you're gonna find it.
I'm not hunting for negative, I'm just trying to protect my kids.
Thank you. The articles that I look at are not the ones, in other words, they are incredibly credible sources. I'm very keyed into what kind of source is this as a researcher. Okay, so I look at military usage of infrasound as a weapon since what, the 1970s, 60s, 50s? They have been using infrasound as a weapon. Okay, so I'm not saying that it's on the same level as with the turbines. I'm simply saying that infrasound can't be disregarded as imaginary. Because if the military all over the world, for instance, those embassies that were closed or actually partially closed in Havana and in China, the US embassies had to shut down and send home half of their people because they were bombarded by an attack that they highly suspect, and I've got the scientific and historical proof for this. They suspect there's a decent chance that was infrasound, that the weapon was used against him.
Yeah, I
So
think
I'm
that
not
was on 60
saying,
Minutes, I think I saw that.
yeah, it's, I'm not saying that it is,
I don't-
you know, exactly the
Not an
same as this situation. But when the military uses it as a weapon, it's worth paying attention to.
Move on, I'm not ready to set the setback yet.
Move on.
Needs to be looked at.
I don't see anything in 36 and 37.
I'm still on 34. No, we did do that already. I think, no, yeah, we just. We got that with this.
Which one?
You're on 34, on?
I'm on 35. And again, that's, this stuff is all in the books already.
That's what I saw, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39.
So what about all of that, though, what, scratch it all? Is that what you're saying,
I
you're
think
okay
it's-
with our current?
I think it's all addressed in our current.
I would agree. Agree?
Mhm. And other agencies are gonna, I mean,
Yes, if
like the
it's not-
Raptor
That's just,
protection.
Yeah, if it's not in ours, it's in somebody else's. Game and Fish is gonna have a lot of this.
And Raptor protection is frustrating. I can tell you from being involved in the electric industry, there's all kinds of Raptor protection. And you can just drive out, and the first place that eagle's gonna sit is right on top of the Raptor protection.
I think ours are sufficient to get me to page 44.
It's all in there, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
33, 45 is the same. 55 is talking about games too.
Right, it's
Also the decommissioning, that's all.
It's all in there already.
I didn't see anything.
Sorry. Look into it.
What?
Page you guys.
46,
46 and 47. Where are you at?
47.
I do like where they added on Q
Uh-huh.
and parent company.
And that's,
That way we're making sure that the applicant has it. Just a simple statement.
yeah, there's the number of places.
Yeah, I do. That way we're, it's more like, well, maybe not, I don't know that. In some instances,
Well, yeah.
contract ourselves,
Subsidiary,
yeah,
subsidiary.
down the road. We gotta worry about kind of like subdivision, who owns it next?
Right.
So I like that.
So we have some use control already as far as that goes. I know we already have one.
Well,
And
it's,
we basically did that on, with Black Hills, that's where we structured that. And it's not actually in our regs, it's a fee schedule, but
it's at the
there's the planner's office.
Yep.
But I don't suppose Laura has that.
I doubt it.
Do you guys have, Laura, do you have a fee schedule by chance for the planner's office?
Schedule?
Or do you remember what we listed at the end?
What did we end up doing for,
For fees,
yeah, for the
We do
for the
have-
transmission line? Do you remember that? We did.
yeah, when we had the building certificate
Yeah.
is what it was, and that's no
For
longer
each
a
one,
thing.
yeah.
That's why I say we took that away.
Exactly, until,
It's a structure permit.
that's right, it is over $1 million, so it's still the same thing. And I think it's probably the same or as directed by the commission. You know, so it gives us discretion.
So they would be covered, I mean, they would be billed under that,
Yes.
so it wouldn't have to be.
Per tower.
Per tower.
Yeah,
Per
so that's what I put in my notes, is
Tower.
that we
It
already
would be
have.
per project,
Project.
We
for,
already
it would be
have
per project for this thing, yeah.
Fee schedule.
So-
Building
It would be under, it would be under what was the building certificate. Construction certificate, whatever it is, something. But the new version of what that is over $1 million and saying, I think that's the one that we changed.
Yep, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
So that's covered.
Right, okay.
And I
So
don't know how it
we don't need to
compares to
have
this,
that.
but it's covered.
I don't know how it compares to that. I think we want one.
I think it is too.
The Q you like?
No.
Yes.
What?
You. 47.
Oh,
47 Q?
Yeah, that's in our current regs, except
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
put parent companies and
Right.
they leave that in there.
Yeah, an annual review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly it.
But this other. No,
I agree.
This, no, this, we have that,
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of when you,
There again,
when
as
you
long
file
as
for a special use permit, you pay that, you don't find.
we need to just be consistent with currently what we have.
I agree.
That's gonna change.
Just changed it, so it's gonna stay that way.
So here's the thing, the construction certificate, or whatever we're calling it nowadays, that's anything that goes to industrial siting council, that's their job. Right? That's about the only thing they're doing is construction changes, that they value what that should be and then give it out to the entities. And so, to be honest with you, that I foresee that being taken care of by industrial siting for the most part, because that's exactly what it's there for. It's for a construction of a new project that's not typical in your area. What does that change? They do an economic impact study and then say, you guys can take up to X percentage of project in costs that you incur because the project's coming to your county. They have to be specific and they have to be tied into the project, and it's open for years after the project goes through industrial siting. So we have this ceiling of money available to municipalities and counties and affected parties that we can access for stuff that is associated with the project for, as I understand it, years afterwards. So.
Thank you, Ian. So that's covered.
Yeah, taken care of.
Okay, so that's scratches then. How far did you want? Because that's all part of that application fee, which involved in the whole application.
And we go back into B where they talk about the insurance again.
Into what? Oh, well, let's see. Yeah, and that's just part of our current rates.
Yeah, they've just proposed an increase due to inflation.
Oh. You just really added in the parent company thing again.
I don't know what the amount should be. I
Yeah,
really,
that was something.
Yeah, I don't either.
we're probably too low with ours.
Well, it sounded like the 5 per occurrence, there as far as the aggregate.
Yeah, I don't have any idea what you got there.
We would have to do a little research question and answer on that.
Transfer extension. Extension and transfer.
I'd say with or without permission.
Will they cross out the extension part? They can change the extension and then preserve certain circumstances.
Yeah, I like ours better.
I agree that there needs to be how much extra time to give somebody that needs it instead of. In our current city, up to 24 months.
Transfer?
No. Please, it says the permitting agency
24 months after.
may request not more than 2 separate extensions with such total extension period not to exceed 24 months. That's what our current says. And so,
Seems like a long time.
it does seem like a long time, but then again, doesn't it depend on what the circumstances?
2 years goes by in a blink of an eye.
It does, and like.
I don't think it's too long.
Something like COVID hits and it's 2 years before you get
Yeah.
like toilet paper, so, I don't know. There's so many things that you can do. Something like that. Or, I don't know, I think it depends on all the circumstances. Two years too long?
So do you want to leave where they took that out?
The extension? I wanna move the extension. I like how it's expressed, but I just questioning our.
So so a special use permit is listed for a period of time?
It is. The applicant has, I believe, 1 year.
Yeah.
To complete their special use permit.
Okay, to complete the,
Or to start construction or.
right, yes.
Whatever and all of that.
Yes,
Because,
okay.
like for subdivisions and whatnot.
But we don't put a time limit on the special use of the property,
No.
correct? Okay.
I think
The
ours
construction.
I like just how it's written, 2 years. I don't think it's too long.
Because it's up to the board of commissioners to decide if that should be granted anyway also. So, does that mean, so the permittee may request not more than 2 separate extensions? And the total extension between both of those requests cannot be more than.
That's how I would
4.
read it.
I think that's right. You okay with that, guys? Isn't that how it is? And the transfer part?
Can you enlighten me why you didn't like the way we had that wrote on the transfer permit? Somebody?
On the transfer permit?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was
You mean at the bottom where it says notification, that addition?
Yeah, it's just, yeah, what made you think that what we had wasn't sufficient, is my question.
She's not sure where you're at.
You mean at A?
Yes, on A.
Yep, on A.
I think it just gives, notice, it specifies notice, when that should be given to you, or to the commissioners, I guess. The days, the calendar days. I think that's not a bad thing. Just to keep everybody, in the loop of what's happening on the transfer. I think they would like to know if there's going to be a transfer.
I'm not arguing, I'm just asking the question, how you arrived at that, that's it, that's good.
I think from, it might have been, I'll tell you, it was either Ocean or Sweetwater.
That's pretty simple.
I think
Should
it's
leave that in?
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
If I may, so that gives
You okay with that,
notification
Bob?
that if a company's gonna go bankrupt and the owner's gonna
Not that
change, that's what this part's about? Does that, am I missing that right?
Typically, I'm gonna, Mitch, would you, for lack of better words, if Nextera decides to sell the project to me, they're gonna notify the neighbors
Okay.
or the commissioners, and then the commissioner can send out the notification.
Thank you.
It's just a change in ownership,
That was Sweetwater.
correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Okay, so keep that in there.
Farm, funds, extension, and transfer. Sorry. Remedies.
I ask a question about that section on 52 there? B, yeah, revocation or suspension of a facility permit. So if I'm understanding that correctly, last time we were talking briefly about there were these certain, what's the word? Measurements that would have to be taken, like let's see how the groundwater is doing, if there's fiberglass on people's fields or whatever it is, and that would have to be provided by a third party, or a third party testing, and then provided to the commissioners, or is it just Platte County? So is this section here, B, do you read this to be sort of giving teeth to the regulations in that if, for example, a wind energy company, you know, let's say 2 miles downwind of them, there's fiberglass in somebody's, you know, wheat field, this gives teeth to the county to say, well, now it looks as though you failed to comply with our requirements, and so you're gonna need to, we're gonna revoke your permit because you're polluting our agricultural land or something. Is that, I'm just reading through it, and thinking that seems pretty protective and it gives more power to the county. Did you read it that way?
I would read it that way, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't like it.
I don't think you can take the landowner's right away and give it to the county.
Exactly.
Then the county's gonna sue on behalf of the landowner.
I think that's.
I don't think that's gonna.
This is not our agricultural land. When everybody in here says, I'm for agriculture, you gotta realize that everybody who signed contracts with these guys is in agriculture. That's my biggest goddamn complaint about this whole thing, is I'm from agriculture, I'm for agriculture, I support them. The guys who are making contracts with these guys are actually out there doing the work. So when you say, I'm for agriculture, I'm the voice for the voiceless, they're sitting there going, you're arguing against me.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. Perhaps I had to make myself clear. So for people who aren't leaseholders, so they don't have an agreement that protects them with NextEra. So let's say 2 miles downwind, somebody's not a lease owner and they notice some issues with their cattle and they're like, what's going on? Or my kids are itching when they go out to play. They test their land and they're like, oh my goodness, there's fiberglass. That's protected for them because they're not otherwise protected.
Your protection there is going to court,
Yeah,
improving your
your
case.
protection, I'd say get no different than my corn shucks blowing across the road. If you don't like it, you're gonna have to sue me.
Or fill my ditch.
Yeah, to fill Bob's ditch.
This right here is strictly between the county and the permit application holder. And so what it says is that, or what it should say in any case, is that if you falsified documentation that we asked for, that we relied on to make a good decision,
right,
that throws that decision out and we have grounds to nullify the permit, which means that the county attorney sends a cease and desist, and then the project goes to court over that. But I don't want to be talking about, what about our agriculture land? That hits very close to home.
No, I mean, you understand where I'm coming from, right?
I
I'm
do.
not talking about your land or, I'm talking
I
about people
agree.
who aren't like leaseholders that are downwind or.
Your
whatever.
remedy is in the
Like
courts.
Ian is saying though, is that
That's a civil matter.
this,
Okay.
yeah, these regulations are between the county and people doing. It's up to, it's all civil after that, between the company and the landowners or the neighbors or whoever else. We can't provide protections for everybody, and the county can't have that liability.
Marty, I got a comment. Most all of our special use permits that we issued are reviewed on a complaint basis, which gives the commissioners the ability to review it and, you know, make them do the things that they need to do for the permit. I think you guys make that recommendation on every special use permit we do.
Every
Yeah.
single one is on, if there's a complaint basis, if there's something that arises, you can always complain to the county first, for sure. Which did you write all on that? So, as far as, as far as this other, on the, that's, we're striking that then?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
is that, yeah. So that's what I thought, so now you're on 54.
in there, right, so.
Yeah. that you that's all on, that's not commercial.
It's back on the other one too.
Oh, just changing that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's for sure. What's that?
Which one, yeah,
On that 54, on or so, sorry, okay.
Oh, the decibels, yeah, that's, we talked about that earlier.
Under K,
Yeah. Foreign-made components.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Did we talk about that last time?
Oh, yeah, no, we can't, and we talked about that too. So this came back up because we're in a different category now, we're in the non-commercial, it's further than commercial. So that's why I agree. I think my neighbors, wind turbine makes more noise than my air conditioning. They can hear it when I'm on my tractor.
Go ahead.
It's just one of those.
Didn't we
little
talk
ones.
about that last time? To put foreign adversary if they're- instead of foreign made, put foreign adversary.
We did in an earlier chapter.
We did. Did we do
We
that
talked
last
about
time?
it
We did
2
it in
weeks
a-
ago. I wonder if
I think we decided that we needed to.
Yeah, I don't know how you define adversary.
No.
It just follows the BBB new statute that the federal regulations put in, because that's what's in their statutes.
I don't know how you can regulate who, where they buy their materials from.
It's a federal. Federal.
Yeah.
If you would like to get into import-export law, as a county, I can tell you we don't have the money to hire the interpreters. It goes to the next point.
Marty, you got a question back here?
So thank you. So I understand what you said at your first session when you covered the first 12 pages about, you know, how are we going to read all this material you're expecting the company to give us? How are we gonna go out and inspect, et cetera? We can't do that, we won't do that. And, yes, that's true. However, you want, as a county, the ability to, number one, hold companies accountable, and second, you want the door open so that you can, if you need to, walk up to this facility, walk up to the turbine, and look at it with somebody, to verify whether or not there's an issue. So it's not saying that you will, those things are not saying that you will have staff to go constantly inspect, or you will have staff to constantly peruse every word of the thousands of pages of stuff that they turn out for these federal or state regulations. It's simply leaving the door open so that they say, oh no, you know, they can't say, sorry, you can't do that, you can't come out, this is our property, we made agreements with landowners. No, this leaves the door open simply for the county, if they need to go take a look. And so it's a very important safety precaution, and it's not an obligation. It's not a statement of obligation that you always have to do these things. It just leaves the door open.
And I think that it is in regs that we can,
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, we
in our
leave that
current
out,
regs that
that-
you can go, we can go anytime.
that the county can do
Well, if you're sure
it.
that
Trying to
it's
find
there.
out right now, but.
Where are you talking about?
It's no
that?
different than the assessor can come out to your place and if you've added on an addition and didn't get a permit at the county, they'll measure it so they can tax you, but they have every right in the world to go out there.
It's in the regulations, so, it would be good to have the door open through the regulations for this as well.
Well, we've gotten through it. But we need to, I think we need to hammer on the setbacks.
Sure.
Get it done tonight. So they know,
Do
we
you
know.
wanna hammer on the setbacks tonight, or do you wanna go on to try to figure out something about best? We need to touch that, what do we wanna do?
Setbacks. Get it figured out.
Can't make a decision, but yeah.
Yeah, we can't make a decision, but we
Yeah.
can talk about it.
So you're back to page 7. 7.
I'm open for suggestions.
I think we need to stay with 5.5 times or some number in there so that it's not just a flat
So it's not just
mile
a flat
or-
1 mile.
or half
it's
mile.
Maybe 7 times instead of 5.5 times.
Yeah, I mean,
Because then that
whatever.
goes pretty good,
Because the changing of the size of the towers, I mean, sure. Because not just this project, but there might be another project come 6 months down the road here that wants to build 600-foot towers. And if we have it set up on a 5.5 times, then they're already in compliance. Where if we just say a half mile, then we're not. So I think that's.
And we could do it either or, if it's, 1 mile or 5.5 times, whichever is greater. Kind of a thing.
I think if we've seen the 10 times, that would, for a 500-foot tower, that would bring it quite close to a mile, 5,280 feet.
True, and we did have it 10 times or something, I don't know.
I think that's too far. And I'm just
Farthest
thinking-
I see is 5.5 times,
So that's, yeah.
right here, unless I'm not in the right spot on page 7.
I don't see it 10 times.
I might be outside that.
8.
Question. And why do you think 1 mile is too far?
Well, because I'm thinking about prior history that our counties, we've put some setbacks on different industries, and it's come back to kick our ass. So,
That's true.
I think it's way too far.
Wind specifically is pretty unique in the
Well,
pressure that it
It
sends
just
off.
depends on, in the eye of the beholder.
No, I mean, like scientifically,
Well.
it sends off barometric pressure fluctuations.
How far do they go?
At nighttime, they can go like further than 50 miles. Now, I'm not saying that's, I'm just saying, because they're so low frequency, they travel really far.
What else,
I
what
said
else
that-
causes them?
Oh, a lot of things cause them. It's a matter of how strong they are. So with wind turbines, because the structure is so large and the volume of air that's moved is so huge, that pressure fluctuation is just very powerful. It's low frequency, but that actually makes it travel farther, and that actually, our bodies,
Yeah, half mile.
so when audible sound hits our bodies actually are not harmed by it nearly as much as the inaudible sound, because, I mean, there's a whole lot I could.
Well, let's not get into the technical, I
On
am,
that, like on that line.
my question is, what else causes them?
Like machines,
Machines?
but the issue is, like I said, that like a dishwasher, you know, those, if you actually try to visualize the waves that come off of that dishwasher, they're not gonna go very far.
I can do that, but would trains do it also?
Interstates.
Interstates do it also?
Right.
And trains and anything with large moving masses of.
Military
So do we need to have infrasound regulations for all those other applications?
We can't.
What makes this special?
These could run 24 hours a day.
They don't.
No, but they could, there's the
If
potentiality.
they could, then we'd
for
have
that.
them all over the place because they would be effective when they actually make power, right? So, I mean, seriously. That's a dig on you guys. But in any case, my point is this, if it is, and I'm not discounting anything you've done, but should we be looking at other applications of infrasound? If
Well, I've only studied the way that infrasound from wind turbines affects surrounding communities, and most of the time, it's a community adjacent to a wind farm. And what they're trying to do here is put a wind farm on top of a community, which is gonna have a lot more problems because there are people living amongst it.
So how far away is Cheyenne?
60 miles.
60 miles, just over. I was thinking about that. If we are
Not
being
from the wind
affected,
farm, but
exactly.
only 30 miles. from the
So
wind
in that effect, then we are still,
Look
it
at
is
the ones
reading to the
in Converse
research.
County.
Exactly,
They're
so
I have a hard time with it.
that is something that, while it may be,
Yeah.
I don't know about it, right?
I don't know.
But we are
Those
certain if
dollars
it is true they go 50 miles, then we're in it right now.
Right, but that's like saying, oh, I cheated on my diet, I'll eat a whole box of donuts now. Like, there is a happy medium, right?
You
Like,
do that too?
but you know what I'm saying,
Right.
like, let's do something more than we currently, quarter mile, I spoke with, somebody who works in the wind industry, or worked, I should say. And he's really smart, well-respected citizen of Black County. And I said, what do you think about a quarter mile setback? And he said, that is not safe. So, I mean, I'm not saying anything radical.
I agree, and we're not talking about quarter mile here.
Even a half a mile.
We're a half mile.
Right, well, I mean, I said, I think that what other counties have done with a mile at least protects the citizens a little bit better. You start getting in that, you know, underneath a mile.
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay, well,
I was listening to Bill.
you're not.
What Bill say?
We're at half a mile now.
I guess the way I look at it too is, you know, I got this subdivision that got put right in my front yard that I was not very happy with, and now I got dogs barking at me all day, all night, that I never had before.
You need half
You
a
know,
mile.
I wish they were a mile away.
I
I think the medical issues are the complicated
think I'm
factor.
still here.
And does it affect
But I mean,
everybody or just
the
special?
subdivision-
The
Susceptible.
reason, and I don't mean to be a smart aleck, but I spend a lot of time in a machine with 20-foot blades, 2 and 3 blades, that are turned at 800 RPM.
1,800, 2,400.
Well, like I said, so based on everything, because I tried to find a hard and fast percentage, and it varies. But there are some people that are more susceptible, just like some people are more, you know, likely to get seasick when they go on the sea, and other people are not. I mean, it's definitely a biological reaction to those vibrations. They've done MRI studies where they send infrasound toward people, and then they look at the changes in their cognitive function. They look at the different parts that light up. So it's not imaginary, it's a real thing. And for some people, it's devastating. I just don't think the gravity of that is quite being grasped. I mean, some people can't, they have to sleep in their basements forever and they're debilitated by migraines. I just don't think anybody really wants that to happen to anybody in Platte County.
Or anywhere.
Right, but we can affect Platte County.
Okay, what was the other big issue tonight? Setbacks, and what was the other one?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah. The batteries, we're gonna have to.
Oh, that's.
I think we're gonna have to hold a whole nother workshop on that. Yeah.
I completely agree. And to be honest with you, when I'm looking at these, is they have a lot of good ideas in them, and if we can always, so here's reality. We have something in there that says, or conditions that the commissioners set, right? So all those can be part of, and it will go through the same process that this actually does. And so I think we should have something. I don't think we can get something, but I think we can make something. And we have a lot of support from the research and whatnot, and it is an issue that we need to address. And so that's not something that we go by on the wayside. And part of this is insurance for these guys, so they don't, I mean, that's the other side of this, is that this is insurance for any twin development company that comes here. If they follow the regulations, then they can do it more or less and have standing. So we will be addressing this in some form. I don't know what it looks like. The ideas are there, but if we don't get to that before the permit application comes to us, because that timeline is now. It was like the 25th of August when they submitted to the industrial siting, right? So they are permitting as we speak. I don't think that BESS is, like you said, it is a new technology for us and for most people. I think that there is some grace there that we will be able to form some safety factors for BESS. We've got a firefighter that is on the commission. He's out there and certainly by any means cares about the safety and well-being of the county and the Platte County firefighters. And so I don't see any reason why we can't do that, but it might not be in this form.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Yeah. There will be something. There will be something.
Just one real quick comment on the setbacks. There's some disparity within the existing, like there's from third-party transmission lines and substations, it's 5.5 times the overall height. But it's not for roads and highways, parks, yeah, or even occupied buildings and residential subdivisions, depending on the height of the tower. Those are only 1/4 mile. So there's deferential treatment to protect the safety and integrity of third-party transmission lines and power infrastructure. It's given greater protections than what the traveling public are, and people who frequent parks, and people who live around turbines. That seems like a huge disparity. And we should, if anything, be protecting our citizens more than we are third-party transmission lines. Even though that's important and it's to public safety, we need to have the power, right? So, but within the existing regs, there are just things that are just skewed, you know.
Okay. I'd say you leave it. Here again, I think it's a civil matter. I just don't have a clue. I wouldn't even know how to start it.
What, Marty, the distance?
No, the liability, the insurance. What's between the neighbor that's affected and the company.
Yeah, it's litigation,
And it's no different in, that's life.
yeah. No
My
different,
cattle
your
get out,
cow gets out
My
on the
cattle get
highway.
out and your lawn in, you're gonna sue me for the damage.
Yep.
That's how it is.
Marty, let me ask you a question. So you get sued for damages and you wreck somebody's car with something that got out through an open gate on you. Do they ask you if you've got insurance, or they just take you to court and take you for whatever they want? They just take you to court. And so that item specifically is literally insurance to make sure that those guys can stay in business, or whoever it is, right? You know, it doesn't make much difference to me. They can probably assess their own liability.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Having it should have something in there, certainly, but
Okay,
So we're gonna keep the distance?
What's that?
What do you say about the distance?
Well, we can't decide
Wanna
tonight.
take a vote?
We can't decide on that tonight. We can't take any action.
Think that we need to change it?
The insurance?
No, we're back to the setbacks.
Oh, the setbacks. Well, you know, I'm gonna
Skipping
have to just
around.
spend my time and gas, and I'm gonna go down to Cheyenne and go west on Happy
Or you go
Jack
out
and
on
see how damn close those are. Do you drive out there?
Oh, yeah, 'cause I guess Cheyenne's.
How close are they to the highway?
At least for our projects, they're set back by, I think, a quarter mile, but there's also the Happy Jack Wind Farm, which is not ours, so I can speak to that one.
Oh,
Go up on,
It's right on the
go up on Rolling Hills. Everybody's in on.
I can give you some
Those are
insight.
really, those are right there on the road.
The Duke Energy wind farm that has Suzlon turbines on it, that was built back there quite a while ago, by the city landfill. Some of those, that was back when the state regs only required 1.1 times setback away from, the overall height away from a highway. Those have thrown 140-pound chunks of ice out on Happy Jack. That's how close some of them are. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Setbacks are important. And since then, the state has changed their regulations, which you guys adopted those state regulations pretty much as far as the setbacks are concerned.
you just saved me a drive, but I can't have a beer at that place that's out there on Happy Jack.
You can Google Earth it. You can Google Earth it and measure it right off Google Earth.
Ian, even I can do that on Google Earth.
I'm sorry, Bob, that was a slight that you didn't deserve.
But you can't get a beer at the bunkhouse on Google Earth.
Bunkhouse, that's it.
Almost ready.
Bonnie,
I think,
when we were talking that last session, we changed and added adversaries. It's on page 6, letter G, where it says approved wind turbines. We added foreign adversaries made components. That was the second place. And actually the first place, and then the one at the end.
I think I have wrote, I drove line through that,
yeah,
but that's what I did.
I think that's what I did, because that whole section G is not even in our current regs, even though that's in black, that's not in our current regs. That whole section G. So,
With that being said, I would rather them install a turbine that's right than the wrong part because it was made by a foreign adversary. Or wasn't made by.
Well, you get into infrastructure problems with that, and I know you don't wanna listen to it, that's okay.
You gotta, you're not an expert, we're not experts,
Oh, we know that.
so.
Ian, was your comment earlier, like, that kind of stuff is out of a county's purview?
yeah.
I
Or out of
believe
scope.
completely out of our purview. We have no jurisdiction on deciding who a foreign adversary is. And I believe you can't buy steel from North Korea right now. I think that's a federal deal. And we can put it in there, but it's, what does it even mean?
Yeah,
Seriously.
I don't know how you.
You gotta
how-
define it.
Where they can purchase
Yeah.
stuff anyway.
Yeah, most of that's.
I mean, the clothes on our back could be
It is, absolutely.
from a foreign adversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that, I would leave that up to, the role of the federal government is to have international diplomacy, one way or the other. That's not the role of the
We're not
county.
trying to get
Yeah.
the United States is a little too.
Anyway.
Any other questions or concerns? Jill?
I just had one, well, actually a couple, if you would be so kind to send those out.
Yeah.
A couple of things, way back at the beginning, when you started out, I have a little bit of something that I wanted to share with you. On Title 18-5202,
section B, the last sentence of
Where
the
you at?
statute.
It's on the statute.
It says, any person may petition the Planning and Zoning Commission to amend any zone plan adopted under the provisions of Wyoming statutes 18.5.201 through 18.5.208. At the beginning of this, you elevated Nextera by having them stand, and then you turned in a few sentences later and you called us the opposition. I take offense to that. We are your county, people of citizens of your county. So what I'm asking for is a public apology.
I'm sorry, Jill.
Thank you.
Pretty easily done.
I appreciate that.
Never too late to fix a wrong.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marty.
I'm not the author of those scrolls, however, it was a collaborative effort, and so, my job is to tell you that those are facts that make it real easy bullet points, and, I believe there's like a short letter at the end that has like personal, what was that? Basically like, imagine if this was you, imagine if it was your backyard, that kind of thing for each of you, so obviously, I don't know each of you personally, but it was a collaborative effort, so.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you about me personally. My house is within 500 feet of a cell phone tower. It's within 500 feet of a railroad track. It's within a quarter of a mile of a feedlot. It's within 10 feet of ongoing farming, day-to-day basis. It's within a half mile of the interstate, and I'm still alive. I don't know how, but goddamn, I am still alive. So that's a little bit about me.
You know, Marty, you have to keep in mind that that was your choice.
Absolutely, but here's what I'll tell you, Mark, point blank. If somebody put a wind turbine farm a quarter mile away from me and they have the audacity to buy the property and the nerve to do it and spent their money and did all the things they needed to do, I might not like it, but I can't stop it and I won't stop it. That's their right. I might be pissed off to no end, but that's their right. And if I don't like it, I can move to town. Because at the end of the day, we live in the county. If you want all this protection, maybe you need to live in town. You chose to live in the country. These things come to the country. If you don't want these things to come, live in town. That's what I say. We're done. We're gonna take our recommendations to the commissioners we'll have a meeting next Tuesday, and we will recommend our recommendations at that time to the commissioners. The changes that we make will have to be advertised. So, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 times?
No, just once.
Just one,
So
so
just-
45 days.
So just to be clear, your intent is that on September 9th, at your regular meeting, you'll discuss and decide on recommendations, at which point I'll advertise, and then you have a public hearing. So the Tuesday the 9th won't be a public hearing.
No.
I'll advertise for a public hearing, and then at that public hearing, you can make your decision on formal recommendations.
But before you make it a public hearing, it goes before the commissioners first, doesn't it? We make our recommendations on the 9th, and then don't they have to?
I think, so on the 9th, from what I'm gathering from the chairman, is you'll make formal decisions on what changes you want to make. After you've workshopped them, Tuesday the 9th, you'll make formal decisions on recommendations. Or formal recommendations, to put it better, formal recommendations to submit for public hearing. And then the public will be able to comment on those specific changes. Then at that public hearing, you can make a final decision to send to the commissioners.
So the 9th is no different than this meeting. We can make suggestions on what we're gonna do.
We'll make our final
We'll make our-
decisions
yeah.
on
You can
what
make
changes we want.
You can make decisions on Tuesday the 9th,
But it has to have a hearing.
but that decision is to advertise those for a public hearing.
Correct.
And those will be the changes that we will not make.
I just wanted to make sure I knew.
I have a question about the hearing. At that time, the feedback from people, is that, meaningful? Meaning that it'll,
Cindy got this
Tuesday's
lesson the
meeting?
other day. At public hearing, the First Amendment applies. And so you can say your piece, there may be a time limit for your piece, but you can say it.
But I mean, it's effectual, like it could actually change
It's as
something.
effectual as anything else in this democratic republic.
But like Tuesday's meeting it's a public meeting, but it's not a public hearing. As far as this upcoming Tuesday's meeting.
Typically, how I run it, if you want to come and have, I'm going to give you a time limit. And if I've heard what you're saying already, I'm going to say, move on. We don't need to sit here all night and hear something that we've heard 10 times. At some point, this board is tasked with making a difficult decision. Some which you are going to like, some in which you are not going to like. But at some point, as an appointed person, non-paid, we're forced to make a decision, one way or another.
And then our decision isn't final either, because then from there it goes to the commissioners.
I'm highly interested in this within the schedule. When are we going to get to look at this and really understand what's going on there?
I don't know. To be frank with you, I'm not sure. We need to, and I'm committed to doing that. And to actually getting some meaningful protections, and I don't know if they'll be called regulations, because I'm not convinced our timeline will mean very much, but there will be something in any case, because there is that clause that says as set by the commissioners, or conditions set by the commissioners, or whatever. There's a couple different places we do it, but we need to, you're absolutely correct.
Actually, what I've seen in studying this is in order for us to get Platte County's regulations, it's going to take coordination with DEQ and the fire marshal to really do that job right. And you can do a stopgap measure maybe, but I really do not understand why we would accept the best application until we have our application.
That may be the case. That may be.
Yeah, I think that's just prudent.
Literally, we know very little about this, and I don't think there's very much historically about this, and so this is going to be a process for us. And at the end of the day, it does come down to, that one is fairly critical for safety and whatnot, and so much so that the fire departments have been proactive on trying to understand what it is, right? And so we will address that, and to your point, there's nothing that's off the table right now, and if the lawyers don't say anything else, that's how it will be. Thank you.
This is not about the regulations, this is about, so, and Ian, are you the temporary plan?
We don't have I've changed my description. Platte County does not have a planner right now.
Okay,
I-
so you're
the-
just commissioner hat only, then, remember you were the hat,
Yes,
planner,
yes.
commissioner?
Yeah,
Okay.
but, so, in support of that, the three commissioners and Malcolm and the whole crew here has been stepping up and doing what we can to make sure that, because the other option is everything stops, right? We don't have to have a planner, I guess, if we can't get one, but we will not abide that, right? And so we are doing whatever we can on a limited schedule to provide that service in the county.
Listen to,
Just a clarification for your meeting. It's next Tuesday, and where do you have those?
right here.
You have them here.
And I don't remember, I think
What time was it?
September's meeting is still at
I
6
think
o'clock,
it's
isn't it?
6, I think. We switched.
We switched for winter time to 7 o'clock, or no,
I'll get a
sorry.
notice out tomorrow.
So it'll be on the web?
I can't remember if September's, I think September's is at 7, so.
I think it is at 7, but I'll
Let's
I'll
do
make sure.
I think it's at
Let's do 8.
7. Later better for me, but,
Let's go to the bunkhouse.
it's probably already on the calendar, isn't it? Because we already had a set schedule.
I'll look, and I will get a notice out tomorrow. And it'll be on the
Either
website,
6 or
Lucinda, and
Thanks.
If you're here at 6 and it's at 7, you're an hour early.
That's right.
If you're here at 7 and it was 6, you're an hour late.
Don't be late, because we're not gonna start.
I just,
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm Terry Baker. I have a question. Has it been helpful for people with any kind of information, either side, to all of you to keep getting it? And would you like more, or are you just over it?
I'm gonna
Or
speak for
if
me.
we find something, maybe still send it.
I think your document was very helpful, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I have not read a tenth of what you sent me personally.
Me?
Well,
probably.
through Malcolm or whoever.
Yeah.
You have to remember, we're volunteers. We have businesses to run, and we would like to have a life at best. But I think your document was very helpful, and I think with Bess, I think that's a hell of a place to start. Start writing down concerns, because we don't have anything. And the more things that we can look at, different eyes, we'll sort through it and hopefully figure it out.
But Terry, just so you know, if you send it, I will make sure I continue to forward it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Malcolm
No, it's
forwards us
helpful.
all the stuff that you guys sent him. As far as I'm concerned,
That's really
I'm kind of over it. As far as the infrasound stuff, I mean, there's been a lot of information there, and so please don't send any more, please don't me. And the best stuff, I have reviewed all of that, and I've looked at the disc, and I've just done a very general review because we're not at best yet, so I haven't dove very deep into that, but
There's a lot there to
the,
do.
the manila envelope that we got last time, you still have that?
I have
one?
that, I have the
Yeah.
disc, I have not
And
looked at it. That's what's, I'm not gonna
It
lie,
does
so
have
here
good
a lot.
information on it, so, yeah.
I
It's
do,
a
I
good
think the
place to
document was
start.
good. We
I
just
think
gotta
it was
start
Good
it.
ideas,
I think it was good that you sent us that stuff, because a lot of it I wouldn't have known where
where to
we found
begin.
it. It's
It
just,
saves us from having to do a lot of research.
I mean, some of it, to me, I don't know how much facts were in all of it. I mean, there was some of it that I questioned, but it was worth looking at, so I appreciate you sending it.
We were engulfed with one side, basically. And then it's kind of like the news, you have to depict out what you want to believe and what you can't.
Yeah.
And they once said that there shouldn't need to be a fact check. If the media just tell the damn truth, we shouldn't need fact checkers.
Right. Will you go through the solar regs as well then?
Will we what?
Go
Go
through the solar regulations as
I would
well?
imagine we
Get them
will.
updated?
I mean, I think while we're doing this, we should maybe take a quick look at our solar as well, just because it's the same.
Well, they're together.
Is there a chance we
Thank
could
you.
get the solar rigs like this for Tuesday, just so we can kind of start looking at, not necessarily a recommendation, just what we have.
You wanna just have a
Probably
copy of what the
housekeeping
solar.
to do on that.
What are you gonna
I
do
think
about
so.
the batteries?
Well, we're gonna work on that one, Bob.
I don't think we have any for the batteries.
No, we don't have
No.
anything.
We don't have anything for this yet.
But the
That's
solar we do
the
have.
solar we do.
And if we could just have a copy of it, so we can
Just
kind
have
of
a
start
copy.
looking at it and be,
You just need to have a notebook though, and
I
then you'll
know
have a
it.
copy.
We're not as organized as you, Bonnie. Get over it.
Give her a job, I
You know, the
guess.
only reason I
That's
have
your
this
job.
is because I made Doug run me a copy of it.
That was your job.
Thank you.
I must.